Welcome back to the RunThrough Trails Podcast, back for another episode, this time with another amazing special guest. Today we're joined by Naomi Lang. Welcome, Naomi.
Hello.
Great to have you. And yeah, wonderful to have you. Thanks for your time. Obviously, Naomi, super competent trail runner, had some amazing results recently. We've got loads of stuff to chat through with regards to your background, recent races, kind of the future of your trail running, and also sounds like you've got some kind of quite big stuff going on outside the sport as well. It'd be cool to touch on. But first of all, for our audience who may or may not have heard of you before, can you give us a little background about where you're at currently in your career, who you are, where you're based, and the type of running that you do?
So I'm Naomi. I currently live in Glasgow. I'm there for uni, so I'm studying medicine at Glasgow Uni. I guess I've been running. I've been part of a running club since I was probably like 13 or 14. And that was like with Aberdeen Amateur Athletics Club initially, and then moved to Edinburgh for round one of uni. So ran with like the uni there, and then Carnethy Hill Running Club after that, and then now in Glasgow. I guess now mostly do hill running, trail running, fell running, whatever you want to call it. And then a bit of cross country and road and stuff as well.
Awesome, cool. Well, I mean, obviously you've kind of, well, I shouldn't say obviously, but you've burst onto the trail running scene in a pretty big way over the last couple of seasons and had some massive results at some big, heavily contested events. But do you still see yourself as like a fell runner? Is that the background? Kind of shorter up and down stuff?
I would probably definitely like still call myself a hill runner, I guess, just because certainly like at home, like in Scotland and stuff, that's what I'm running on, I guess. And like, to be honest, I still am not quite, well, I think I've got the distinction between the two down now, but yeah, it's sometimes a bit confusing about like,
I was going to ask you for a bit of clarity, because especially like in Scotland, you've got different names for everything. What would you say is the difference between a hill runner or fell runner and a trail runner? For the audience?
I mean, I think the main thing, I guess, I think there's probably not loads of things, or like not loads of races I would call as like trail races in the UK, I guess, because a lot of the time you're just like on much rougher ground, or like, some bits will be, I guess some of it is on path, but then like some of it like won't be on paths and stuff. But I guess the trails to me are like the smoother like European ones and stuff.
Like trail requires an actual trail rather than just like a field full of cows on the side of the hill.
So I feel like that's probably the distinction. But
okay, cool, nice.
They overlap, I guess.
All right, well, take us back to kind of the beginning and your entry into the sport. How did you first get involved in running? Are you family runners? Do you live in a town with a big running club, or what was your first exposure to running in general?
First exposure, not sure. I guess we were just like, I come from a very like outdoorsy family, and like grew up with like in a big group of like other outdoorsy families. Essentially, like there was like a big group of loads of these different families, and we'd go away like at the weekends camping and like be in the hills and stuff. And I think there were lots of kids that were all like around the same age, so I think we were kind of just like let loose to kind of run about. So that was probably first exposure into running. But I guess my family are all really outdoorsy, so like did lots of sports. Kind of growing up, I guess we lots of time in the hills, like walking, I guess mostly when we were younger, but then like cycling and sailing and stuff as well.
Okay, cool.
And then I guess I swam a lot until I was like 12, 13, but was probably always better at the like the one land training session we did a week. So eventually joined a running club when I was like 13, 14, and then did loads of track and cross country from then on for quite a few years.
Okay, nice. What was your favorite kind of discipline when you were doing track and cross? Was it the cross and the off-road stuff, or were you doing like short, fast stuff on the track?
I did a lot of like 800s and 15s. I guess just the way I guess when you're that age, and like the way the like main path, I guess, through athletics when you're that age is through cross country and track. And it's like very much cross country in winter, and then track and stuff in the summer. And I loved it. I had a really good group with Aberdeen AC. yeah, I guess that the enjoyment of it came a lot from like the people and stuff I was doing it with.
Nice. And then how old were you when you did your first like off-road race that wasn't cross? The first time someone dragged you along to a fell race?
I mean, I think I'd done a couple like before I'd even like joined a running club, and then maybe the odd one like here and there. I think like definitely did like the Braemar Highland Games.
Okay.
I think maybe when I was like 16 or 17, and there was like Benny Hill race. It was like vaguely local as well. And yeah, I guess I got into it much more, I think, kind of like through COVID and post-COVID, actually, I think, in terms of like, I think probably during COVID, just, was running a lot less like on the track and stuff. And then like when you could do more track races and stuff again, I think I was just like not quite as motivated by it. Like I was just, I mean, I guess all the way through doing track and things, I was like spending a lot of time in the hills anyway.
Okay.
And I guess it got to the point where I was like, actually, I don't really want to sacrifice my weekend to be running around in circles. And yeah, I'd rather be in the hills like most of the time as well. So yeah, sort of gravitated towards the hills and stuff.
Nice. Where you lived during COVID, were you able to get out and about even during lockdown, or was it quite strict? Like, did you have good access to the outdoors? I'm assuming you kind of did.
Yeah, I was pretty lucky. I was at home in Aberdeen at that point. And yeah, I mean, I actually didn't do loads of running. I was slightly injured during the first part, so I was doing lots of cycling. But yeah, could get out and about pretty well, which I guess was very lucky because lots of people couldn't.
Nice. Okay, cool. And then, so how did that lead you down the path? So this was like high school, and then
no, this is towards the end of my. So I did sports science at uni in Edinburgh, so it was like towards the end of that.
Okay,
and
cool.
then I had a couple of years, and then I'm in Glasgow.
Okay, so you had quite a few years, like cross track athletics, just kind of running on the side of stuff. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So then after your, was it bachelor's sports science?
Yeah, it was.
Like a 3-year. Okay, cool.
So it was 4 actually in Scotland.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. We do an extra.
Why
I think we like I was 17 when I went the first time around, so I think we maybe do one less year of school and then one more of uni. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, I actually looked at going to university in Edinburgh because they had a really good physics department, and it's such a cool city. It just didn't kind of play out that way, but yeah, I mean, okay, cool. So you did start a year earlier, do a year longer. So finishing that initial degree at kind of 21-ish.
Yeah.
What next? Like, did you go to work? Did you decide you wanted to be a professional runner? Like,
no, definitely not the latter. I went and worked in. So yeah, I guess it was 2021, I think. And yeah, I went and worked in a youth hostel in the Lake District in Borrowdale, which was a lot of fun. So you just like we just like lived in a house at the back of the hostel. So I was there from like midsummer, I think, to like November. And so yeah, then I guess that was another point where like, yeah, I was doing just like loads of hill running at that point because we're Borrowdale is like, I mean, you're sort of like in the middle of the lakes there, not that far from Scafell Pike, really. But yeah, plenty of others around. And then also, I think, yeah, there's quite a lot of like local hill races and stuff in the lakes. So then, yeah, I was doing a bit more hill racing and stuff there too.
Nice. So at that point, what kind of level were you? Did you were you already winning races, training seriously, like rocking up, planning on running hard, or was it kind of a bit of fun and you had a bit of a bit of talent, but you weren't really fully in?
No, I was definitely like training and stuff for them. And the year that I was living there, it was the trials for the worlds that were in Thailand.
Yeah.
And so I trialed and I got in, but then it was postponed. So I guess I like made this team that never kind of like happened, and then had to like retrial again the next year effectively.
Oh, they redid the trial, so they didn't carry the same team through.
Yeah, well, I mean the race was like more than a year later than it was supposed
true.
to be, I think. So you can't really, I think, especially for the the up and down stuff, like you definitely need to retrial for that.
No, that makes sense.
No, I was definitely like, I was training and stuff. But I mean, I think all the way through, like, I guess like I take it seriously, but then also not seriously at the same time, I think, through all.
So what do you mean by that? Is that like you've got a laid back attitude, but you train hard, or?
Yeah, I think so, I guess. And I think also like not being like, I think often I'm not like, I have a loose structure, but not like I wouldn't say I'm very rigid with like what I do. Like,
are you coached, or do you do your own?
I am coached. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm coached by Lewis Walker. And he's actually coached. So he coached the group that I ran like track and stuff with in Edinburgh.
Oh, cool.
Mostly he now coaches like everyone sort of individually rather than like, or I guess he always coaches individually, but like there were more of us running together like a few years ago, whereas now it's like we're much more spread out. But yeah, so he's coached me like in track and kind of hills and stuff now as well.
Interesting. So what's the split of his athletes? Has he got a lot of track and road people as well as trail and fell, or is it more?
Yeah, quite. I guess he's got a few more like hill runners and stuff now. He also coached, I don't know if you know Holly Page, who's been on some of the, there's two Holly Pages, which is confusing, but one of the other girls.
Okay, I know one of them.
the one that lives in Edinburgh. And like I guess we sort of did track together and then also did hills together as well. So yeah, her as well, and then like Jenny Salmon, who went to the Commonwealth Games for like 800 meters and stuff. So
yeah, like a real range. Yeah, interesting. Okay, cool. So you went to the trials, got into the team for the one that didn't happen, got postponed, didn't make the next. Did you try for Innsbruck as well?
So that I made I guess the year after I trialed and initially didn't make it into the team, but was the reserve. And then I mean, like, yeah, pretty horrible for the other girl, but she got hit off her bike like a week before they were supposed to go.
Oh no.
So I found out on the Monday that I was going, and then we left on the Thursday. So yeah, I guess I did eventually make the team, but not necessarily for the best reasons.
And that was in the up and down?
That was in the up and down, yeah.
How did that go? What was that experience like? Was that your first like big race? Or?
Yeah, I guess, yes. Definitely, like, I mean, that was my first GB vest. So yeah, a pretty crazy kind of first like GB vest to have, like being in Thailand and stuff. Like the whole trip was just like a lot of fun. Like I think I guess like all these things, like the team, like the kind of team atmosphere and stuff. And I think, I guess in like hill and trail running, everyone's like really into the same, like everyone in the team is essentially into the same thing. So I think everyone just has like a lot of fun. And yeah, the race was like horribly hot. It was disgusting. It was like
what are we talking conditions wise? Like 100% humidity and
like super
degrees.
Humid and like maybe 30 plus degrees anyway. And I think I feel like we started in like the middle of the day or something as well. It was great. So I don't think I had my best race, but
what was the course format? Did they pretty much hold? I'm a little bit naive when it comes to the up and down or like classic format. I obviously got an idea of what it is, but how much can it vary? How set is like the distance and elevation? Because obviously Canfranc just now was 2 laps. Whereas
so Thailand was 1 lap, but not loads of elevation from the top of my head. The first and last mile were both like pretty flat. Like there was kind of like a run in and out from the like, I guess the main like hub, like start and finish hub. And then I guess it was maybe like 700 meters of climb or something, which were possibly slightly less, but over the distance that wasn't loads, I don't think. And then
how is that terrain compared with like Scottish and Lake District fells?
It was
different?
pretty. It was like quite a narrow trail, and then like I guess quite I guess, quite rocky and loose. And I think they feel like I remember going to check the course, like maybe like in the week before, and I think they'd had to like basically like cut the bushes down like either side.
Right.
Because
Okay.
it was like this narrow trail through the jungle essentially, up and down. So yeah, it was pretty cool. And I think, I mean, as a team, I think we came second. So that was like also really, I mean, that was really cool to be part of.
Nice. How was your race? How did it go on the day? How did you feel?
I remember having a horrible time on the way up, and then like managed to kind of claw my way back on the way down. So yeah, I think not my best race, but also like I think the whole experience and stuff of it was like really cool. And I guess we did walk away with a team medal. So I guess
it's amazing. Awesome. Okay, cool. Nice. So coming back from Thailand, medaled, obviously like crazy experience. Where were you at in terms of like your own desires for the future when it came to the sport? Like, were you now thinking, I mean, so obviously you have to kind of be aware that you're a world-class athlete because you've just competed at the World Championships and the team's medaled.
Does that even sunk in? That.
No, people don't, but like you are, I mean, you have to be, right, to be there.
Yeah, and I guess like, I guess it's just like a funny, it's a funny thing, like labeling yourself on that type of thing.
Okay, so still came back kind of still quite humble, but with more goals. Like, what was the next target? Like more fell races? Did you have your eyes on moving to the trails? Had you looked at, Golden Trail? And I don't know, what were you?
I mean, I'd never, or maybe I'd just about heard of Golden Trail by then, because I think that same year I did the Ring of Steel race and I think that, I guess that was maybe the first time I'd ever heard of Golden Trail, but I definitely didn't really know what it was. But yeah, I definitely wanted to do more hill racing. I don't think I had like particularly set goals or anything. I think, I was like, I'll try and make the teams and stuff again. Like, I think the camps races are always really cool. And I can't really remember what I ended up doing like at the start of the year after. I was like moving around a reasonable amount and like changing jobs relatively frequently. And I trialed for the Innsbruck team, but like didn't make it on. And I think, I think kind of a lot of the time I would like have, I guess I would go up and down a bit on like race results and stuff. Like sometimes I'd have like a good run, a good run, and then of races, and then other times like would struggle a bit more. But I think I guess part of that is just like getting adjusted to racing like all these races, and just like as you grow and develop and stuff.
Well, what do you think what were the main kind of learnings that you and your coach took from those ups and downs? Like what was causing the bad races? Because I suppose what was the average length that you'd be racing for? Just generally, we're talking 30 minutes,
an
hour.
Kind of classic like up and down races are sort of typically between an hour and a half.
Okay.
And sort of up to kind of like 16K, just over 1,000 meters, I guess, are probably the longer ones. I guess quite typical of like what a classic hill race would be like.
Yeah,
or a
totally.
Like a kind of like you run to the top, you run back down again, kind of.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, classic format. But so in terms of like time on feet, time racing, comparable to like a half marathon, whatever, for people who are maybe more into road running. So we're not talking about having like huge fueling issues or being out there for a particularly long time where there's too many factors. It's pretty like physiological, and then there's obviously quite a lot of like technical skill that comes in, more so on the descent, but still on the climb, which obviously is probably something you are strong at because of your background and stuff. So what was your weakest aspect when it came to this sort of race format at that time?
Definitely
was it the climb? Okay.
Like I think maybe like you were saying, like I think having spent quite a lot of time in the hills and stuff, like from like a young age, and like I guess maybe the nature of the hills like around Scotland, they are a lot more, I guess they are just rougher and more technical than probably most like elsewhere. So definitely like certainly in like kind of European races and stuff, like the technicality or like the more technical it is, sort of the better. But yeah, definitely the uphill was something that it was probably definitely my weakest point.
So was that something that you like identified and then specifically worked on? Like, did you start to do more uphill races? Were you doing more hill reps, more elevation in training? Like, I don't know, was it?
Yeah, I think that definitely the last few years I've done a lot more like elevation and stuff, and like more like hill reps and stuff, and even just like doing like instead of doing like kind of tempo threshold stuff like on the flat, doing it on something that's like it's not up a hill but it's like rolling.
Okay.
So I think all of that like helps, I guess.
Yeah, interesting. And when you're talking about technical terrain that you spent a lot of time on, obviously I'm sure a lot of our listeners have run in the lakes, but probably less so up in Scotland, I would imagine. It's just a bit further away, a little bit less kind of popular for people to travel to. Is it quite Lake District-esque? Are we talking rocky, talus-y scree fields? Are we talking like muddy, chewed up, steep slopes, bit of everything?
It kind of
are there any
depends
major
where
differences?
you go, I guess. I think there's probably a lot more bog.
Okay, yeah.
Or like certainly like the expanse of it is probably bigger. But yeah, some places are like pretty rocky and loose, and then other places are just more like, yeah, I guess muddy and steep. I would say the Lake District rock though, there's something about it that makes it like exceptionally slippy.
Right. What would you say is your preferred terrain? Like if you were going to have your perfect 12K, 800 meters, wherever it was in the UK, whatever, what would it be rocky? Would it be muddy? Would it be grassy?
I don't know, actually. I think running down like grassy bog is like, it's potentially easier than rock, but then like if you get a perfect scree slope, that's also
yeah,
brilliant.
if it's fine enough, that's all good. But when it's like baby heads, it's horrific.
I know, when it's like somewhere in between, or like the big boulder fields, I feel like they're slightly less fun. But
yeah. Okay, interesting. Well, the bog. I mean, it is kind of interesting because I know you obviously. I mean, I don't want to skip ahead too far, so we'll keep going. But you've obviously got a reputation as being a really good downhill runner, and you'd like definitely one of the fastest females in these sorts of races when it comes to that side of things. And I've had a few conversations with different people of not similar backgrounds in the sense that they're like doing hill running in Scotland, but maybe they're doing orienteering races in Norway or whatever. Yeah. Stuff where you're like running through just crap, muddy, horrible crap in shit weather that's uneven and sketchy, and doing that for years and years and years. And the level of kind of like technical proficiency where then trails, like you say, in Europe, that people are calling technical is not really technical. It's like super runnable relative to what you're used to. I'm assuming that's how it feels, right? When you get into some of this stuff in the Alps, and they're like, oh, it's a really technical descent, and it's just like a nice trail with a couple of rocks.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, I guess it is what you're used to, and like, I guess it's relative to what you're running on. And yeah, I think probably like certainly like the people I have raced against like this year, like probably those who are better at downhill come from either places that are like kind of more like wild and there's wet, rocky, and stuff, or like are like you say, like orienteering background is definitely quite common. So yeah, I think it is. I guess it is just practice, isn't it? And
well, I mean, is it because like you're the expert at that? Like, I'm assuming you're not going out and doing like skill-based sessions to improve your downhill running. This is just something that you're just super experienced in and you're naturally good at, or are you? Are you going out and training it?
No, I wouldn't say I go out and like specifically train downhill, but I guess like, you know, like if you're like the routes that maybe I would go and do from here, I guess, are maybe on average more technical than what you would do if you lived like in Switzerland, for example, I guess.
And do you do much fast downhill running in your training, or is it more just like you're on that terrain because that's where you tend to run and you're out for a long run, out for a session? Or do you do, I don't know, downhill tempo work, or do you do any kind of fast downhill running specifically?
Not particularly, no. I think there was maybe like there was one session I did this year that was like, run down the hill hard for a bit and then run back up again, and do that a few times. But I think
was
that's
that
the
Cam
only...
Frank prep because it was
that
two
was
laps?
Cam Frank 10.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, there's nothing worse than hitting the bottom of a hard descent and then into another climb. It really is horrendous.
But yeah, I think that's maybe the only time this year that I had done that. And I guess, I mean, I think actually, like, you know, you don't want to like hammer down the hill too hard, like too often, because I guess that's where you get DOMs, isn't it? So I think, I guess just through racing, like that's kind of enough, I think, usually.
Well, again, it's a question, isn't it? It's interesting because some people struggle with downhill running because of the DOMs, and well, not the DOMs because obviously that's delayed, but even in the race, like the quad cramping, and especially when you've got big climb, big descent into another climb, which obviously when you start to get into longer races, even 25k trail marathon type distance stuff, that's like a huge part of it. So I think some people really struggle with the descending later in the race when their quads are battered, which makes sense. Some people maybe don't have the hours of practice and, you know, kind of more the skill. And I think a lot of downhill running is confidence, really, isn't it? And confidence comes from experience and repetition. So, and then maybe they also don't have access to the terrain to practice on or similar conditions. So it's just like a really interesting part of the sport because obviously in longer races, again, I shouldn't say obviously, but it feels like in longer races, 50k and longer, because you spend so much more time on the climbs, the stronger climbers tend to probably benefit. Obviously, if you're good at descending, it's still going to help. But if you are the best climber and you're also consistently good on the flatter sections, you probably can survive the downs. And because you've got such a big advantage on the ups, you tend to kind of win the race. Whereas in the shorter stuff, kind of feel like it's a bit more even. Like in the kind of racing that you're doing, you can probably pull back pretty big gaps on a descent, even if someone's a much stronger climber, if they're not as confident.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think I kind of thought, I guess it's only in the last like 2-3 years probably that I've raced more like, I guess on like mainland or like in the Alps, like on mainland Europe. And I think a lot of people forget about the down. Because I think there's definitely like, there were quite a few races where I guess I would feel like I was miles and miles behind, like on the up. And then like, I guess just sort of like turn off and really, really go for it on the down. And I think, I do think a lot of people forget that like, you can lose time, I guess, on the down, or you can make up time on the down. And I think, certainly like a lot of the people I like run with, in Scotland, I would say a lot of them are all very good at running downhill. And I think like there's a bit of a competitive nature in that, I think. And especially in like hill racing and stuff, like people really love to throw themselves down the hill. And I think maybe there's a bit less of that in some of the big like European races. But I do think a lot of people forget that like, it's still part of the race and like you can still eat into time on that.
Massively. No, it's super interesting. I was actually interviewed Anna Gibson a couple of weeks ago and we were talking about this same thing. Obviously, she was just over in Spain as well.
Yeah, no, I know Anna reasonably well.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, we mentioned you because she was the opposite. Like, she's a super strong climber.
Yeah.
And she said herself, like, I'm not very... Well, I'm not sure that she said she wasn't confident. She probably didn't say that. But she said, I'm never going to risk it on the down. It's not worth it. Don't want to get injured. Don't feel like I can make up that much time. I want to move kind of efficiently and quickly, but I'm not going to kind of go crazy. I'm not going to risk it. I'm not really going to push it. I'm going to lean into my fitness and my climbing and blah, 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 which is pretty much the opposite to you, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, it was just kind of an interesting insight. Like, do you feel, are there ever times in races where you feel like you really are risking it, or are you just that much more comfortable because of all the stuff we just talked about and the factors that make you kind of such a strong downhill runner that from the outside it might look like you're taking risks and going a little bit too fast or maybe being a bit out of control, but actually for you that just feels manageable?
I think mostly I would say it's like within, like I don't feel like I'm taking like risks or like nothing. Yeah.
I mean, there's always some risk, right? But I mean,
there's
like,
always some risk, but
crazy risk. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel like most of the time I'm like relatively in control. I guess occasionally I think maybe there's been like, well, if I had to stop now, probably wouldn't be able to. But I guess it's like, I don't know. I think you almost like, like I find on the downhill, like you can really you really just like end up super focused on like, I guess what you're doing with your feet and like trying to find your way, like pick your way through and stuff, and like having to think really quickly and stuff. And I really like that, I guess.
Yeah, me too. It's like the best part about running. It's great. Do you ski or mountain bike, or do you do any other downhill sports, or have you ever done anything?
I mean, I guess I ski and mountain bike, but I would say my mountain biking is not like, I think mountain bikers wouldn't call my mountain biking mountain biking.
Okay.
I like cycling off road, I guess. And yeah, I ski as well. But I think both of them, I definitely am not particularly good at. Well, yeah, I'm competent at them, but not like my skill in both of them is not particularly great.
I'm always interested. I think there's some correlation. I think there's a bit for some people. Especially if you've got like, people who've got a load of skiing background and they're really used to skiing off piste in the trees and being comfortable moving quickly downhill and like looking at a line and scanning and whatever, all this sort of stuff that maybe you do naturally in any gravity fed sport, I suppose. And then I think that just applies to running, but you're moving more slowly. So it actually just feels quite chill. And then people are like, wow, this guy's crazy. Yeah, maybe. Go on then. I'll put you on the spot a little bit for people listening, because I know, so we teach some camps and we do some retreats and stuff at RunThrough. We have done in the past, and people always want to improve their downhill running whenever they're learning about trail running, because uphill kind of makes sense. Get fitter, run up some hills. It feels a bit more manageable. All the other like tricks and tactics and fueling and gear and stuff, obviously we talk about quite a lot, but the main skill that people want to improve is downhill running. So for your average person who's going out and taking part in 10 to 40k type trail race, whatever, what are some things that they can think about that could help them to move more efficiently downhill? What do you think? What are the keys to being a good downhill runner?
Yeah, I think probably part of it is like trying not to like break too much. In some ways, like I think, you do have to. I think you have to like let go a bit, and like, I guess it's kind of tricky. I guess you're like in control, but maybe not in control of like every single step in some ways. And I think probably following, like if you're following someone who's like faster than you are down the hill, like that's quite good, because I guess you can like follow where they put their feet and kind of go with that. Maybe.
Do you ever think about when you're running downhill? Because you're right, like if you're using energy to slow down, like heel striking, spending a long time on the ground, sitting in quite deep, all that you're doing is kind of using more energy and muscular endurance to slow down, which is kind of not what you want to do when you're trying to run fast. So
it makes sense that gravity.
Exactly, to a degree, and then obviously like at some point it becomes like a bit too crazy. Is that something in the length of races that you're taking part in now that you need to start thinking about more as you go to like slightly longer races, like up into kind of 40k or so, racing for a few hours instead of an hour? In the back of your head, can you do too much damage to your legs because you are faster downhill? Do you have to like rein it in actively?
Yeah, that's something this year I've definitely noticed a bit, and kind of like I remember before Marathon du Mont Blanc, I was like warned by quite a few people, including Judith Reeder, who's also very good at downhill. She was like, don't go too fast on that like first big descent, because you will like wreck your quads. And I was like very glad that I'd been warned by that, because it was like not a very technical downhill, so like you really could have just like gone. But I think actually like I've realized that quite a good balance is almost just like going with what's natural on those descents rather than like kind of forcing the pace on those downhills. And I think that's worked well enough like in those longer races. But yeah, it is something I have like tried to be a bit more aware of, because I guess like if you're just going up and down, then you can just like finish yourself on the downhill, whereas like you don't really want to do that on the
exactly in a normal up and down. You get to the top and you're like, right, this is it doesn't matter. I can't feel my legs when I cross the line. It's irrelevant. Exactly. Interesting. So I mean, let's just jump ahead to it. Like Marathon du Mont Blanc, since you mentioned it, was obviously a massive race this year, with an amazing amazing result. So like, what was that experience like? I think it's an incredible event. I know it's not UTMB big, and Chamonix is kind of known for UTMB World Finals and whatever, but to me, yeah, I don't know. It's such a cool
I
course.
Thought it was huge.
No, it's massive. I mean, obviously it's massive.
Yeah, but like in terms of, I guess more like the number of people who were like watching,
spectators
like
and stuff,
spectating and stuff was like, I think maybe, I mean, yeah, possibly the biggest event in terms of that, and like at the finish line and stuff as well. Like it's lined, which is like, yeah, it was really cool. Like I think I maybe hadn't quite appreciated like how big an event it was. Like I definitely like heard of it and stuff before like signing up this year, but yeah, I don't think I'd really fully appreciated like how big an event like that was.
What led you to choose that race? Because obviously, like, we've kind of jumped a couple of years there, haven't we, where you've gotten a bit more maybe into taking part in a few different trail races. I know that you were in Locarno for the Golden Trail World Finals, where we've got an event there in a month.
Oh yeah, okay,
it's
nice.
such a cool place. I know you had crazy rain, and we were actually there that weekend. It was pissing down, and they had that section under the chairlift that was super muddy that everyone was sliding down and whatever. So obviously that's a big event, and you had a great result there as well. And then obviously a few other results after that, but maybe not anything, like you say, that's felt quite as big as Marathon du Mont Blanc. Would you say at that time that was kind of the biggest race that you'd podiumed at, had a great result at, been a part of?
Like definitely. I think, I guess, so I joined like the Salomon international team at I guess end of last year, start of this year. And
was Locarno the first race after joining the team?
No, I wasn't on the team in Locarno, but I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'd been part of like this kind of Salomon like UK team for a couple of years, and then kind of at Euros, which you were also at last year. The Salomon headquarters are in Annecy. So they like kind of invited the people who were part of like all the national teams to like come for like a little visit and stuff. So I guess I'd like met some of them there, and then kind of like after Euros, like got kind of an opportunity to like go out on a like camp with Salomon. They, I guess, like most people who were on the camp like weren't on the international team. There were like a few of them, but then like mostly like, I guess, like, I mean, not everyone was on a Salomon national team either, but it was sort of, I guess they were, I don't know, scouting camp. Is that what you call
like
it?
a bit of a talent kind of development camp or whatever.
So I guess got like a few good cool opportunities and stuff, and then like some like reasonable race results and stuff, and then joined the team at the end of last year. And then I guess
what changed off the back of that though? What did that mean? So you joined the team, which is amazing. Now you're a professional trail runner. You're proper Salomon
Another
athlete.
thing that is like,
well, I know,
a funny label to have.
What does it mean? But if you're sponsored by one of the biggest brands in the world, then you are. So you have to be, whether you think it or not. What did that look like? Like, what did that mean? Was it just a kit drop? Was it camps? Was it? Were they telling you which races to go to? What did that look like?
I mean, I guess like it's just suddenly like you have so many more doors that get opened in a sense. I think the first like kind of meetup was like in December last year, and like being there, I was like, wow, like how on earth have I ended up here? Like this is crazy. I guess like you're surrounded by like these people that just have like lists of like, I guess, accolades and stuff against their names. But I guess it's like the whole like setup, like you just have like access to I guess so much like knowledge and like help, I guess, like physio, nutrition, S&C, like kit specifications, and then like kind of I guess they all have like so much knowledge about like which races are like the like super competitive ones, and like I guess like where, like, I guess they just, there's so many races, it's like hard to like sift through like what to do, but I guess like there's a lot of help with that and stuff. And yeah, I guess like when I was chatting to them and stuff at the end of last year, kind of, obviously like suddenly there's like someone else who's interested in what races you're going to, not just you. But like discussing what races I might want to do like the following year. And Marathon du Mont Blanc, I think I've been looking at doing like longer races for like a couple of years. Like I think both for Euros and kind of Innsbruck, the longer races were just like a bit too long, or it was like a bit too soon.
They're a bit too long. 60k, like, 4,000 meters or whatever. It's
it's quite a big jump from like an up and down. And like I think maybe like the year, like I guess I'd had a few injuries in like those few years as well, so like just hadn't been running like loads, I guess. And so I'd been looking at kind of like doing some longer ones, and Marathon du Mont Blanc, like the course seemed really cool. Like I guess I knew Chamonix like a wee bit, and it was like at quite a good time of year for me as well, in terms of like I knew I was going to try and do the trial race for Worlds for this year, and that was like in May, and then like I had like exams and stuff, and then like had like a month sort of before this. So I guess it was like at quite a good time of year, and like I guess that's sort of how I ended up
nice.
Doing it.
So how was it a good camp, good prep? Did you feel good going into the race? Was it all kind of as anticipated, or any curveballs, any niggles, any, don't know?
I think like mostly like I'd had like some, I guess I had some good races and stuff like in the UK, like in kind of like May and stuff. I'd done one of the Golden Trail races in May as well, but I was like really unwell when I went to that, so I did not have a very good run. So I guess I was relatively sure that I was like quite fit, but I guess it was the first race I'd sort of, I mean, if you discount the Golden Trail one, it was the first race of like, I guess, racing the like European and world individuals, rather than like just in the UK.
Sure.
But I think I guess this, when it's like the first race of you like competing against those girls, like I wasn't quite sure like what shape I was in. Like
I mean, you must have known you were in pretty good shape. Yeah, but you were top 10 overall at Scarfell. Like, and it was the men's trial.
I guess it's still.
So, I mean,
it's still different, isn't it? When you're,
it is,
like, I don't know. So and I guess I'd raced a lot of them, like kind of in the year, like the summer before, like I guess, like you say, in the corner at the Golden Trail final. But I guess it was like, and I guess first, I mean, it was the first. I mean, I'd done a marathon as part of the or like on the first day of the like the year before, but I think that was maybe the only time I'd run the marathon.
Right.
So I guess there was quite a lot of unknowns as well. So.
And how did it go in the race? Like, so obviously, you're coming into it, not some uncertainty, kind of a new experience. Obviously, it's massive. You've got all the big names there, so I totally get it.
I think,
how did the race go?
I mean, I kind of remember before just being like really quite calm about everything. I mean, I don't get super nervous, to be honest. Like I think probably when I was younger I did, and then I've kind of now realised that there's no point in that.
That's good.
But I think I was just like pretty relaxed, and like and then I think like it didn't go off too fast, or like we were all just in quite a big group, and I guess I just like kind of felt like I was like, oh, I actually do feel like quite like good here. And then I guess like was quite surprised to be where I was like after the first climb. because it was kind of one of the first times where I felt like I've been in the mix on a climb and not
on a
just
climb.
having to claw my way back.
Well, that must be
descent.
a nice feeling. Yeah, because I mean, it starts off pretty gradual, doesn't it? So I suppose you get to ease into it, and then decent climb up to
Aiguille de Posset.
Aiguille de Posset, that's right, and then down into Valacine.
Yeah. So yeah, like I think I don't know. I think I actually really enjoyed having that because the first like 13-14k is like it's rolling, but you like kind of gradually there's like one reasonably sized hill like from Argentière, but actually there's nothing like you're not doing a big climb at some point, but actually I think I quite enjoyed having that. It was like everyone kind of like there's time for everyone to kind of like settle down. Like I think it's quite hard when it starts straight up a hill and everyone like sprints off and you're like, oh
yeah, horrendous. But then they're the sort of races you've been doing though. I mean, I can imagine the pace people are coming off the line at European champs for an up and down is horrendous, right? It must just be instant lactic.
Yeah. And I think like I guess that's where like doing more and more of them, like you start to work out like how, like I think some people can sprint off the line and then like they can sort of sprint off and then like calm down and then like almost like pick it up again. And I find that actually like if I sprint off the line, like that's me. I agree.
It's funny that
settle into it.
I mean, you hear people's breathing in races sometimes, and you're like 5 minutes into a 2-hour race, and this guy sounds like he's in a 5k.
Yeah.
But then he's still there when there's like 200 meters to go. I don't really understand it. Okay, interesting. Well, cool, nice. And then where were you? Were you like cemented in third place for a while coming into the finish, or were you running through the pack towards the back end of the race, or what was the finish?
Yeah,
like?
So two of us kind of separated ourselves a bit, and we're basically in second and third for like I think from Aiguille de Posset, basically like until Flagère, and I think we had a bit of a gap behind us, and then like towards the top of Flagère, like I think the whole race it almost like squished all in together again. I don't think I'd actually quite realized like how close like three people behind us were by the time we got to the top of Flagère, and then I guess it was kind of just had to like work pretty hard from there to get to the finish. I remember looking, there's like a small incline, I think maybe with about 2k to go, 2.5k to go, and I remember looking behind me at that point and like seeing one of the other girls, and I was like, oh god, I really need to keep moving.
Oh no, it's the worst feeling ever when you're absolutely knackered and you see
I mean it was
there.
really cool. Like I knew quite a lot of people who were there that weekend, and so I think seeing lots of people out and about on the course, like I guess that really helps as well.
Totally, yeah, amazing. Well, I mean, what was that? What was it like crossing the finish line, then coming back into Chamonix? It's so iconic.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was like slightly in like shock and disbelief. Like, I think there's like some photos and stuff of the finish, and I'm like, what? How did that happen? But yeah, I think it was really cool, and I think also just for it to be like it was such a close race in the end. Like, I think I can't remember what the time gaps were of the top like 5, but I think it was possibly all within like I want to say maybe 5 minutes, which like for a 4+ hour race is like I think it's really cool, and I think it's like it's really satisfying to finish like in a race like that.
I mean,
and feel like you have to work really hard for the position that you ended up in,
to get the podium. Yeah, totally. I mean, well, so it was Julian and Judith in front of you, and it was 4:15, 4:16, 4:17, obviously with the seconds on, but talking like a minute between each, and then 4th and 5th, both 4:18 within 20 seconds of each other.
Yeah, which is
3
crazy,
minutes,
isn't it?
for the top 5 over a marathon, over 4 hours. Yeah, it's crazy.
So I think that's really cool,
and
amazing. I think it also shows like how like competitive like these races are getting, which is
increasingly so. Like, it's insane now when you're looking at start lists of races like OCC or Marathon du Mont Blanc or Ciesanal or whatever. Like, the depth of the UTMB points and the kind of like pedigree of the top 20 is just it's crazy. Every single year is getting deeper. So then, coming off the back of Marathon du Mont Blanc, you must have been pretty happy. I'm sure Salomon were pretty happy. Kind of like feeling strong, feeling in a good place. Was the next big race? You were at UTMB week, weren't you, over in Comilla for ETC?
Yeah, I did UTC, but I did a couple of more of the Golden Trail races at the start of August. So I did
Oh, okay, nice.
one in Austria, and then I did Sierre-Zinal as well. So yeah, I guess they were like the next ones.
Okay, amazing. How was Sierre-Zinal? How did that stack up to Marathon du Mont Blanc? Because that's obviously another like bucket list race.
Sierre-Zinal. So I'd done the Sierre-Zinal. I did it 2 years ago. It was like one of the first, like the summer, like 2 years ago. I guess I kind of like dipped my toe in for the first time into like some of the European races. So
Okay.
I did Sierre-Zinal then. And yeah, I think maybe a bit underprepared for it to start off with, but I think also just like it was so hot. Like I really don't cope well in the heat.
Okay.
And yeah, it was like super hot, and I think I had like a nosebleed up the first climb or something as well. It was definitely like, yeah. But then I think this year actually it was like kind of nice because I'd had like that, like not super. I mean, I guess I like overall. I mean, I signed up again, didn't I? So I guess overall I mean, it was a cool race. I'd had a good experience.
Yeah.
In some ways,
the
the first time. I think each 10K had got better because the first 10K is like all uphill, and then the next.
Well, I was going to say, it certainly
like
isn't like
high and rolling, and then the last 10K is like a bit more downhill. But yeah, I think it meant that actually this year, every time we got to like a checkpoint, I was like, oh, this is so much better than it was 2 years ago.
That's nice. That's good. See, it's positive, isn't it? You've got to learn from the hardships and then kind of move on. Because you wouldn't look at Sierre-Zinal profile and think, oh yeah, that's going to really suit your strengths.
No, it definitely doesn't. But at the same time, I think like it's renowned for being like one of the most competitive like trail races. So I think it's also just quite fun to like match yourself by that. And I think also like there is absolutely no hiding in that race. Like yeah, I guess you know where your fitness is when you're running up that hill.
Oh, nice. Well, I mean, it's still top 10 finish in that field. When we're talking about deep fields, it probably historically has been the most competitive trail race in the world for years, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was really pleased with that. And actually, you mentioned Anna earlier, and I remember her telling me like at the finish that she had run like faster than the year before, but finished like 3 or 4 places down.
Yeah, that seems like every year now with these races.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, I was really pleased with that.
Nice, amazing. And we can't gloss too much over the other Golden Series race that you mentioned because you did win that one. So was that the first Golden Trail event win?
Yeah.
Nice.
And that one was like, because those 2 races were only a week apart, but I think they maybe couldn't have been more different because the one in Austria was like wet and cold and super slippy and like relatively technical, and then Sierre-Zinal was like really hot and like dry and more.
How was it pulling up off that previous race within a week? I'm guessing you weren't running for as long at the Austrian event, right? Like was that shorter?
Yeah, the Austrian one I think it actually got shortened as well because of the weather. So I think it was maybe less than,
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just under 2 hours or something. You were
okay, nice.
Does that sound right? Yeah, I actually think I feel like I've discussed this a wee bit over the summer, but I think I find it easier when it's only 1 week between races compared to like 2. Like I think if it's only a week, like you really only try and recover, I guess. Like you can't really do like anything else. And I think sometimes 2 weeks is like a little bit like you kind of try and recover and then maybe do a wee bit and then like taper into the race again. So I think almost like I guess so long as it's not too long a race, like I think actually it's not too bad.
Okay, so no session, no little taper session, sharpener,
maybe
just
a wee
literally
one, but like
a little something.
I think I had a wee bit of a negative, or like I think my calves and stuff had been pretty tight like before the race, and so I think I just like had quite an easy week, and that was okay.
Was it a confidence booster having won like a really high profile race and then going into another massive race, or do you think was there any level of like you were really content with a big win and maybe you were less motivated? Maybe that's a weird question, but was it a motivator or a detractor that you just had a win?
I
terms of
Yeah,
motivation?
I guess it is like it was a bit of a motivator, I guess, or like I think in some ways you're like, well, like, you know, clearly I like raced well a week ago. It can't go that badly wrong.
Yeah, right.
The week after,
True.
so long as you're like reasonably recovered. And I guess it was quite nice that those races were like the way round that they were, like having the race that was going to be my stronger one first, and then the one that, yeah, was less of my strength,
Yeah, kind
I
of
guess,
nothing
like
to lose
second.
going into
Yeah,
Sierre.
I definitely felt like with Sierre I really had nothing to lose. Like,
Nice.
yeah.
Awesome. And then another really good result at ETC, not that long after, back on the podium.
Yeah. ETC
I mean, that's
was
more
hard.
your format, isn't it? Right? That's like, oh yeah, it's
yeah, I
so
guess
my coach,
yeah.
my coach Lewis, and my dad Neil, who listens to the podcast, both ran that race last year. Last year, horrifically hot. They got stuck in the tunnel forever driving through. And I remember seeing videos. So my daughter's 4 years old, and she went over with my wife and with Lewis and my dad. I was racing OCC, so I was chilling at home with my feet up. I decided not to go, which I was glad I didn't. But they took some videos of Lewis crossing the finish line, and he really gave it like a hard effort. And he's grey, he's pissing sweat. And my daughter literally walked over to the camera and said, "I don't like that. It doesn't look like Lewis." She looked like a shell of a man. I remember speaking to him afterwards, and he was just funny. Like, "That was very hard. Like, that was
a really hard race.
Really
it's like, I think it's 1,200 meters of climb or something. So it's like,
it's a
pretty
huge
steep
climb
for like the terrain. And yeah, I think maybe that was a race I went off a bit hard in, actually, because I was suffering at the top of the or through the climb, I think. But
were you able to? What's the downhill like? Were you making it places?
Yeah, I had to make up quite a lot of places on the way down. So yeah, I guess also like ETC wasn't really like a main like I had a relative. I hadn't really like tapered or anything. It had like a relatively big week of kind of running about in the Alps the week before. So I guess I wasn't like super fresh, but yeah, I was like happy to be able to claw my way back like onto the podium. And I think also like feeling like I'd not had my best race but still ending up there was also quite a big. I think that's quite a big confidence booster sometimes as well. Like,
definitely,
like your bad races. They're not always a confidence booster, but I think in that case it was like
definitely going in not massively tapered, not feeling super fresh, not having a great race, it being super hot, not really suiting you. I'm probably being a bit more ready for longer stuff, because 4 or 5 races that you'd done before that had been a bit longer, maybe not the one in Austria, but and then building into Worlds. Was that the idea with ETC? Was it a bit of a, I mean, you don't want to call it a training race, I would imagine, but like a little bit of that part of the block?
I guess it was like more kind of to be a part of like that week.
Okay.
Like in terms of, I mean, I'd never been in Chamonix during the UTMB week and stuff, and it's like bar the camps with Salomon, that's like kind of the one other time that everyone is all in the same place, because I guess everyone's doing like quite big range of races. And then also a friend from home was kind of doing UTMB, so I had like quite a big group of friends who were out for the week as well. So yeah, I guess it was like quite nice to do ETC at the start of the week and like be involved and be racing, and then like be done and just being able to like have fun.
No, that's nice. That's nice. Definitely, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So I mean, like, pretty good year so far, and then on to Spain, on to Canfranc, to Worlds, and another not bad performance. So third in the world for GB, which is obviously amazing in the short trail. And then I guess again for the listeners, they call it short trail, but I don't really know why.
It wasn't short.
They never are. They called it short trail in Annecy, and it was 60k before that. It was like a 6-hour race.
Yeah. One of my friends, when they released the team for the short trail, like in May, I think British Athletics had called it like the ultra short trail or something, because I guess it's
short.
Ultra.
Okay, yeah.
And then one of, I think maybe Finn. Do you know Finn Grant?
Was he in Annecy?
I think he was. I think he was like, so are you just doing like an 100-meter sprint in the grass or something?
Ultra mini tiny. Yeah. So what were the stats? It was like basically a marathon with 4,000 meters of climbing, wasn't it?
Yeah, 45 45K with 3,600 meters of climb.
3.6, yeah, brutal. I remember looking at the course profile, and this was one that I was thinking that one, maybe not. It's definitely not right up my alley, because just elevation for distance tells you that some of those climbs are steep. Like, what was the course like?
I mean, the course was really cool, and I think actually that was like part of the motivation for like trying to make the short trail team over the up and down team. Like, yeah, I guess that course was like pretty motivating and inspiring, whereas like the up and down, like the racing is really cool, but the course was much less interesting, I think. But yeah, it was like a big 1,500 meter climb to start off with, and about I think
as you do.
maybe 7 and a bit K or something to the top, I think. So steep.
Wow. Hiking, running.
Maybe like 2/3 of it was like running, walking mix, and then the
Trotting.
top bit.
Yeah.
The top bit was definitely hands on knees. And then you like descend all of it again, pretty much.
Wow.
And then the second climb was the like uphill race that they'd done like the day before. So that was, I think, 1,000 meters.
Cool.
And then you don't quite descend all of that. And then the next like 1,000 meters was spread over like one main climb, and then a kicker at the end, which was like, I think it was maybe like 350 meters in a K or something, like like on K 34, 35. So quite brutal. But then sometimes actually, like towards the end of the race, like it's almost better to have a steeper climb because you just walk. Whereas like,
just
I guess
nice to hike.
There's the ones that are like in between where you could run, you could walk. Like sometimes those are quite hard because you're like,
you have to run.
You're tired, but like you feel like you have to run.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I mean, crazy. I would imagine looking at this course, like you said, it was inspiring, interesting. The up and down wasn't so much. I know the up and down was a 2-lap, and I hadn't looked into it much beforehand, but watching some of the streaming stuff, like weirdly smooth and runnable, kind of odd choice. I never think of that type of trail for that type of race, but anyway, different, it is what it is. But everything else that I saw of like the short and long trail kind of looks like Scotland, but dry, in the sense of like some rocky, some grassy stuff, but like not much of a trail, not like a super well defined, buffed out European Alps trail.
Yeah, there were definitely rougher points. And I mean, that area was like, I definitely want to go back.
Oh, really? Cool place.
Yeah, I'd go back. Yeah, it was really cool.
Nice. Awesome. And how did the race go? Like, what was the strategy? What were the tactics? Did people go out super hard? Where were you on the top of that first 1,500 meter climb?
I think at the top of the first 1,500 meter climb, I was maybe in like 8th, I think maybe just in the top 10.
Okay, in a pack or strung out?
I was like near quite a few people, and I think it was quite hard to tell actually, like because you like everyone, like the men and the women all start together. So I guess it was like quite hard to, and also like when you're in the trees and stuff, like going up, like you can't really, I guess you can see people who are on the hairpin above you, but you can't really see like beyond that. So I guess I didn't really know exactly where. But I think in about 8th or 10th or something, like at the top.
Okay, nice. And was it a technical descent?
Yeah, so then that big descent was probably, I think that bit was probably the most technical bit of the race. And I mean, I guess like kind of we were saying earlier, like I was wary that didn't want to like kind of ruin myself on that. But also like it was probably going to be the bit that was like my strongest point in the race. So kind of, wanted to make use of it. And I think, I think I like maybe caught some of the others up faster than I was like expecting to on that way down. Like I think maybe like what I think also kind of how I was saying earlier, like I think is sometimes I find it quite hard to go straight into a 1,500 meter climb, that because I mean there wasn't really like there was like maybe a few hundred meters on the road, but like you pretty much like went straight up.
Nice.
So like I think those first climbs are quite hard. Like you almost like, yeah.
It's a shock. It's like the first rep of a set, right? In a session, it feels horrendous. You do 10 by
Except
a
this
K in the
one
first...
was like an hour and a a good hour and a chunk more, like going up.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think, yeah, I guess I think going into the race, like kind of deep in the back of my mind, I was like, if I have a really good day, I probably could be challenging for a medal. But I think also I was pretty aware that, like, you know, the field was really strong, and like there were probably like 15 women in that race, and like any combination, like any three could be like a combination that you could find like on the podium at the end.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I mean, it's an amazing result. I heard a comment. Bertie is coached by Lewis as well, so I was chatting to him. Obviously, he's in the men's team doing the same race. What was it, like 40 switchbacks coming down that final descent or something?
120.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I knew it was
40 would be fine.
Okay. Why? Were you allowed to cut corners, or were you just having to go?
They were all taped off, and like, I guess, so yeah.
Was that fun, or was that just torture at the end of that race?
A bit of both.
Yeah.
I think that last descent, like the switchbacks are like, I guess because there's so many of them, like you weren't really like, they're not very steep, so you have to, it felt slightly like an interval session, because you basically get to the corner, you kind of stop, and then you have to like sprint to the next corner. But it's like not, gravity doesn't help you that much because it was like relatively flat.
And were you around quite a lot of men still? Were you having to like pass people descending, or was it strung out a bit?
It was like reasonably strung out, like I guess a handful, like, but not
like a problem, not like congested.
No. Yeah. And I think because Sarah, the girl in second, like we basically hadn't been more than a minute apart from each other for like 30k, I think.
Oh wow.
We just sort of been locked going back and forth. So I think the guys that were around were pretty aware of like what was going on, and it was probably going to go all the way down to the finish. So I feel like they were very good about that.
Nice. So could you see it? Like, was the format of the course on the descent such that you could see that far ahead, or
not on the hairpins? Okay. Like every so often I would get like maybe a glimpse of her, but like once you're in the trees, like didn't really know.
Interesting. Was that motivate? Would you rather be chased or chasing at that point?
I think it's easier to be chasing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think so. It's torture being chased.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't know where fourth was, so I guess didn't really know. Maybe we were probably being chased as well. But
I guess, but you're not thinking about it when you're thinking about chasing. It just depends what you're aware of, doesn't it? When you can see third, you're not even, you can see second, you're not even thinking about fourth anyway. I mean, so incredible. Like, how did that feel crossing the line? Bronze medal.
I think again, like, I think it was, I've been like locked in this battle for like so long. But I think that's maybe the most like cooked I've been, like when got to the finish. I think I just didn't really know, like, how to like process it in a way. Like, I think that race was like probably as competitive as some of the other ones that I've like been in this year. But I think, I guess it's just got that extra label of like world champs on it. And so I think, like, I guess when you're like processing that, it just sort of like comes with an extra like weight. But I mean, I was obviously like super pleased with that. And first big individual champs medal.
That's incredible. So in the moment of crossing the line, which was kind of a bigger feeling, Marathon du Mont Blanc or Worlds?
I think they are I think they were like kind of different in a way. Like, I think Marathon du Mont Blanc, I definitely think was more, I guess Marathon du Mont Blanc felt more like a kind of breakthrough moment in a way.
Okay.
In terms of like, it was the first time I'd been on like a podium, I guess, as competitive as that. And then whereas I guess like with the world champs, like having like a podium that's labeled that way is obviously just feels like a big thing.
Yeah. Well, they're both huge, but I only ask because it is kind of different. Like world champs is world champs, so it kind of seems like a silly question. But then for a lot of people, maybe from a fans of the sport point of view, like a podium at OCC or at Marathon du Mont Blanc or one of these, I guess, big kind of commercial live streamed, although they did all that at Worlds, so maybe it's not so much of a difference, but they do kind of feel like two different things. And I could see in some ways something like a Marathon du Mont Blanc with the depth of the crowd and the amount of like media coverage and all the brands and all that stuff could feel bigger than something like a Worlds, even though it is world champs, which obviously in and of itself is incredible, and you're running in GB kit and stuff, so it's like it's a different level of pride and whatever. But yeah, I don't know, it's kind of, well, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I think actually what was really nice, like at World Champs this year, like I feel like it felt like a lot of people prioritized or put like a lot of weight on World Champs. Like I feel like there were a lot of like I guess a lot of the like main names, I guess, that you would expect like at any of those other races that you've mentioned, like they were all there. And I guess I kind of feel that's sort of the way like the sport should be. Like the world champ should be the biggest, like
absolutely,
that should be the biggest one. And so I think it was really nice that lots of people like kind of were prioritizing that.
Yeah, it wasn't a thin field because everyone had kind of run their summer UTMB week and then not bothered to show up. It was all the names. Cool, incredible. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, massive congratulations. That's so cool. So, I mean, I guess the sort of boring question, because you're probably not thinking about it too much, but what's on the horizon for you? What's next? Kind of race plans? Have you had a little think about next year? Are you gonna? I don't know. Yeah, what are you thinking?
Not too sure. I feel like I'm not much of a planner. I'm not very good at thinking more than like a few months ahead.
Okay.
But I guess I'm doing the Golden Trail final like next week.
Cool.
So not quite finished with this year yet. And then I don't really know about next year. Not sure yet.
No, cool.
But we'll see.
Where's the Golden Trail final this year?
In Italy, so in Ledro, vaguely. It's kind of near Garda. So
amazing.
Be cool. I guess not that far from where it was last year, actually.
No, not a million miles away. Hey? I was going to say feeling good, but obviously, I mean, actually, that's not necessarily true. How have you recovered?
It'll be interesting to see. Like, I think my legs, they feel like tired but not sore anymore. So I guess, it'll be interesting to see how they go.
Okay.
Next week, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, so that's not too bad then. You've turned around. All right. I guess we'll have to.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see. That's a lot of descending. That's a lot of fast descending. Okay, amazing. Well, I've already taken too much of your time, Naomi, anyway, but it's been super interesting just going through every single race and chatting about it. And obviously, like it's super impressive what you've done this year, and all the best.
Thanks.
Next week in the race, obviously, we'll all be watching along and following. It's one of the best things about the Golden Trail races is the coverage is incredible.
They do well on that.
It's really fun to watch, so we'll definitely be checking it out. And all the best for next year. Obviously, onwards and upwards, maybe European champs and all sorts of different things on the cards potentially. So super exciting. But
lots of choice.
Definitely, yeah. Like as you said earlier, well, there is too much choice. It's confusing. It's overwhelming. So maybe someone at Salomon will tell you a few different ideas of races. But yeah. Anyway, amazing to chat. Thanks so much for your time.
Nice to speak.
Awesome. And for everyone listening, if you want to go and check out Naomi, as she mentioned, she's sponsored by Salomon. Go and follow along on social media. Go and check out the live stream at Golden Trail on their YouTube channel next weekend for the World Finals. And then obviously follow along on Naomi's journey into next year. Absolute pleasure. Thanks for your time. And we'll see you all in a couple of weeks' time.